Hey folks, I'm Mr. Hartzler and I wanted to talk to you about solving inequalities. And there's a shortcut skip to the end of this if you'd like it. It of course involves Desmos. But I'm going to start off the old-fashioned way, right? Graphing inequalities. And these aren't as bad as you think. So see how it says y is greater than 3. Well, if that was y equal 3, I would come up and put a little dot at 3 and it would be a nice pretty horizontal line. But I am still going to draw that. I'm going to use little dashes here. I'm just above that line because, you know, it's hard to do it on the line. But because that is strictly greater than, it is a dashed line. And then y is greater than 3. So what numbers would make that work? Like 4 and 5 make, that's greater than 3, right? And that would be above this line. So that would be my my graph right there. This next one, right next to it, this has one slight difference. Is that little line right there. That line means that it's also equal to. So this would read y is greater than or equal to 3. And if that's the case, that makes, instead of this being a dashed line, this is a solid line. Okay, so that's a solid line, and y is still greater than 3, so I'm still shaded above. But that line becomes solid, and that's the only difference. Look over at the right, I now have x is less than, strictly less than, -2. So is it going to be solid or dashed? It's dashed because it's not equal to. It's solid if it is equal to. All right, so I go to x is less than -2, so I go to x being -2 right there, and it's going to be a dashed line. And if it's an x something, then it's going to be vertical. If it is a y something, it is horizontal. So x is less than or smaller than -2. Is that going to be to the left or to the right? What numbers here are smaller than or less than -2? Well, that's over here with the -3s and -4s. Let's keep going. This one, slightly more challenging, right? X plus y is greater than 2. I have a harder time graphing it when it's like this, and this is standard form. I'm going to get this into y-intercept form. Yeah, so y equals mx plus b. My slope-intercept form here. This is slope-intercept form. So I need to subtract my x over. So I'm going to write down my original again, right here. Subtract x. So now y is greater than, I'm going to put my -x first, so -x plus 2. All right, so I'm going to graph this just like if that were an equal to. So for a second even, I'm going to write an equal to there, just like a normal line. This plus 2 is my y-intercept. So I know I cross my y-axis there. Then I use my slope of a negative is all I see there, but that's like a -1 over 1. So I go down 1 over 1, down 1 over 1. Or if I'm going the opposite direction, it looks like this. Now I need to go back and figure out what kind of thing that was. Y is greater than. And if y is greater than, that means it's going to be above. So it's going to be this chunk. And what kind of line is that going to be? Because it's only greater than, it's a dashed line. So I'm just going to put dashes through all those dots. And I'm shading above that dashed line. Next one, a little more complicated. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to solve for y. So I'm going to subtract 2x, -y is greater than or equal to -2x minus 1. Here's the kicker. I have to divide by a -1 so that my y becomes positive, which means everything, everywhere gets divided by a -1. And when that happens, this inequality has to flip. So instead of it being y greater than, it's now y less than or equal to 2x plus 1, right? All those double negatives are all going to cancel now. But I have to switch my inequality. That's an important thing to remember. And I'm going to put a graph here, so let's make one. I cross up here at 1. And then I go up to over 1 from there. Because it's equal to, it's a solid line. So I'll just, ooh, that's really bad. Let's try again. There we go. Solid line. And then y is less than or equal to, so I'm going to shade below it. But Shortcut time. See this? I literally typed it in exactly as they gave it to me into Desmos Online Graphing Calculator. And since it says greater than or equal to there, because equal to, it gave me a solid line. It actually did that. If I didn't have that equal to, it would give me a dashed line there. It's awesome. And then it even shades it for me in the right spot, which is so cool. Use Desmos. Okay, hopefully by now you've picked up on that pattern, but Desmos, if you have access to that or any other graphing tool, is incredibly helpful. Alrighty, folks. Yep, that's all. I hope all of you have a great rest of your day, and don't do drugs.